Hello everyone, welcome to our first video of our Git and GitHub playlist. Today we will talk about version control. We know that Git is one of our source or version control system, and before we go and know more about Git, we would like to know what actually is a version control. Now, version control, or sometimes refers to as source control, is the practice of tracking and managing changes to software code or files to recall specific versions later on. Now, version control systems are the software tools that helps the software teams to manage and track any sort of changes and compare them to make changes if required. Now, one of the version control called local version control, and in this local version control, what we do is we name our initial project folder, let's say version 1, and work on that. Later on, we make copy of that folder and then we create a new version named version 2, right? We do that like in our day-to-day life. Now, where we else, I mean, in this version 2, we also make changes to different files. We add different files, we update or we delete and so on. So as you can see that, I mean, in this very example, we change this auth.js into another file called user.js, right? Now, in this approach, we are not actually tracking any sort of changes within the project folder. Rather, we only track the versions. Now, this may arise issues like, we can by mistake copy and paste changes into a wrong directory without even realizing that we are actually copy and pasting in a different folder. So now, can we actually return back to auth.js that we created initially once we are working on that version 3? Because I mean, we don't remember, I mean, where that version 1 is, because we are not tracking any sort of changes, right? In order to resolve this issue, a popular version control system tool called revision control system, or RCS, was introduced. Now, RCS works by keeping patch set or the differences between those files in a special format on a disk, and that special format is called revisions. The next question is how we collaborate with other people. Now, in order to resolve the problem of collaborating with multiple people, the centralized version control, or CVCS, were developed. And there are different examples of CVCS. For example, CVS, Subversion, Perforce. These are different examples of CVCS system. Now, in this system, there is a single server. Let me bring that. So there is a single server where we contain all the versioned files. Now everything is stored in that central server, right? And all the clients, means all these computers, will be interacting to that server to update or check out any sort of files. Now, what are the advantages in this system? Yes, so everyone knows what everyone else is doing on that project, right? Because I mean, we are making modification to a central server, so whoever is connected, they know what other things is going on that project, right? And for an admin, it's easier to maintain. They don't have to worry about like what is going on in space specifically to any of those computer, right? Because everything is controlled and everything is stored within that server, so it's easier for them to maintain and monitor. Now, there are some disadvantages as well. For example, we can clearly see that this whole things is controlled or is monitored by a single point, right? Now, this single point of failure is the biggest disadvantage of the CVCS system. Now, what if the server goes down? no collaboration will be happening until the server resumes back. And if no backups are kept of those, project, then and let's imagine that hard disk of the servers got corrupted, then the whole team, all the efforts that the team gave, everything will be gone, right? So that kind of situation would be really a scary, situation for our team. And in order to resolve these issues, what we need is something that will, have multiple backup system, or this computer does not have to be totally dependent on the server in order to, continue their work independently, right? So in order to resolve this issue, we got distributed version control. Now, we all know that Git actually follows this distributed version control. Now, along with Git, we have like Mercurial, which also follows this distributed version control system. Now, DVCS clients fully mirror the repository, including the full history of the project repository. So whatever these central server has for that project, all these client or all these computer will have a full copy of those. And these computers, or these clients, will be able to interact in between themselves and also with the server. Now, in this case, if the server goes down, all those clients or all those computers has their own copy of the full project. So if the server comes back, they will be able to return those changes back into the server. Or even if the server gets corrupted, right, or the hard disk get destroyed, then each of these client has one of the copy. So whenever the server is up and running again, so any of these clients can send a copy to the server, and the team will have their working or functional copy of that project ready and up and running, right? So this is really a great scope or the plus point of using this DVCS.